Okay, we have a few minutes before we're going to get started, but if any of our attendees are part of an applicant team and you'd like to do a sound check, please raise your hand and we'll get a prompt sent over so you can be unmuted. Anybody from an applicant team? All right, Christine, can we go ahead and do a sound check?
Good morning.
Good morning. You sound like you're probably a little too far away, but
Okay.
all right. Is there anyone else part of an applicant team that would like to do a sound check? Please raise your hand. All right, we have Loretta Miller.
Okay, could you hear me then?
I can hear you, Loretta. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to control your sound, mute and unmute yourself when you're not speaking, then we won't have to do the prompt every single time.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and find the mute there and you'll be able to mute and unmute.
I see. Okay, over the right. Like I said, it's my first time. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And let's see, Jeff Hammond.
Yes, this is Jeff Hammond. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great, great.
Good morning, Kimberly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you, Monet.
Great.
Hey, can you hear me? This is Connor.
Hi, Connor. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Sweet, thank you.
Hi, Kimberly. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. You might want to try to be a little bit louder because you have such a lovely, quiet voice.
How's this?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Is there anyone else from our applicant team who would like to do a sound check? Any of our applicants want to do a sound check?
I've done it.
I think we're good here.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we have a few more in attendance. I just want to make sure anybody that has showed up more recently has an opportunity to do a sound check if they would like. It's people tend to find it inconvenient when they go to speak and their sound doesn't work and it's right in the middle of the meeting. But yeah, Loretta, you're good to stay muted until your item comes up on the meeting. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Stay.
You be fine. You can stay muted until your item comes up on the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're down to our last couple of minutes before getting started, and we have a few more that have logged on. So if there's anyone else that's one of our applicants that would like to do a sound check before we get our meeting started, you can raise your hand within the Zoom format here, and we'll get a prompt sent over so we can check your sound. Looks like we have Andrew Davies.
Yes, thank you.
Sounds fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You can go ahead and stay muted if you want to mute and unmute yourself until it's your item comes up during the meeting. That would be fine. And we won't have to do the prompt again.
Fantastic. Thank you. I will do.
Sure. And then we have Raul Lopez.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. And Dean Calderon.
Hello.
Good morning, Dean.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for attending.
Okay. Take it off.
Kimberly, are we done with sound checks?
I think so.
Okay, great. So since it's 10:30, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the October 7th meeting of the zoning administrator, and my name is Amy Nicholson. I'll be acting as the zoning administrator today. I'm a senior planner with the city of Santa Rosa, and I will be conducting the meeting today and also welcome your attendance. We are holding today's meeting remotely, and this is in accordance with state law and also the county health order to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. And we will be conducting this meeting in order of the agenda that Kimberly has displayed here on the screen. So each item will be taken in turn. The project planner will make a presentation, and then the applicant may choose to add to that presentation. Each item will have a period for any public comment, and then we can ask questions and act on each of the items. In each of these steps, I'll acknowledge the appropriate individuals. So those that are on Zoom can use the raise hand feature, and you'll be recognized by the recording secretary, Kimberly. Any of the actions today can be appealed, and this appeal period is the 10 days following the day of action or the following business day. If you wish to appeal any of the items on today's agenda, you can do so by contacting the project planner who will assist you in providing an appeal form. So with that, we can go ahead and get started with the second item on the agenda. This is for public comment for any items that are not listed on the agenda. So I will go ahead and open public comment. So if you wish to provide a comment, go ahead and use the raise hand feature, or you can press *9 if you're calling in. Okay, not seeing any hands raised, so we can go ahead and move on to our first scheduled item, and this is a conditional use permit for 743 Lewis Road, and the project planner is Ms. Tumians.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholson. Let me just share my screen. This is Christine Tumians, Senior Planner, and I'd like to discuss 743 Lewis Road. As you can see, the property is a single-family residence in a suburban block, and it's in a fairly heavily trafficked area, given all the ins and outs around the property. And the applicant is proposing a front yard fence 3 feet from the sidewalk. It has horizontal slats, and the proposed fence meets the driveway triangle, vision triangle standards for pedestrian safety for vehicles backing out of the driveway. The reason the applicant requests the fence is for safety reasons. One, she's had issues with vandalism and trespassing. And the other concern is dogs and grandchildren visiting and that heavily trafficked road in front of the house. And the fence would provide both a visual and noise barrier as well as a safety barrier. Staff is recommending approval of the fence, and the property owner is available for questions and comments as well.
Great, thank you. I do have a few questions, primarily I think for the applicant. I think that I understand the concern and the desire for a taller fence in that front yard area to provide some more safety and security based on the traffic on the street and people that may be walking around the area. I do think that the fence could benefit from just some design changes, not the fence itself. I think that it's an attractive design, but I think in terms of the distance from the back of the sidewalk being 3 feet and the height of the fence, that a little bit more of a buffer would provide a little bit more neighborhood compatibility. So I'm just wondering if there's a possibility to consider moving the fence back a little bit and including some landscaping, if that would be something that the applicant would agree to, and if it might be possible to continue this to the next zoning administrator meeting to allow for the consideration of some of those changes.
I'm the applicant. Should I talk now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. So are you saying maybe move the fence a little further back, like 5 feet? Is that what you're proposing, or changing the design of the fence?
I don't have any concerns about the design of the fence.
Mhm.
I think it's just the distance from the back of the sidewalk,
Okay.
considering just the height of it,
Okay.
and that it is solid. But I think that, the material's nice, and I like the horizontal design. So my thought is just that if it could be perhaps moved back a little bit to just provide a little bit more relief for those that are walking on the sidewalk, and then maybe a landscape feature. And I don't have anything particular in mind, but that can kind of help when you have a taller wood fence, just to break it up a little bit. So those might be some things to consider. And I don't think this requires that new plans be submitted. I think that if you and Ms. Tumians have that conversation, we could add some conditions of approval that memorialize any of these changes that don't require that extra time or cost with the architect.
Okay. So there's no specific footage that you're proposing. So is what you're saying. Just when you say a little bit, do you mean 2 feet, 3 feet?
Well, I think that's why it might be beneficial to continue it and not really quantify that in the meeting, because I think that I'm not really sure what that is, but I think that you and Ms. Tumians could work on what that amount is. I appreciate that you want to have that space. There's a courtyard proposed in there. And so I don't want to give out a number that would prohibit you from actually enjoying that space. But I think the objective is to just reduce the visual appearance of the fence along the street and the sidewalk. And so, that might be, I would say, at least 5 feet would achieve that. And if you're comfortable going more than 5 feet, that's up to you. But I think that at least a few feet would really help to reduce the visual impact and still hopefully have enable you to use the space how you would like to use it.
Okay, all right. Then I would work with her or work with my architect.
I think you can work with Ms. Toomey, and then I would suggest, just checking back in with your architect to ensure that works with the plans and the construction, but I would imagine that it would.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else I should be concerned about then to make, or is that the only issue here?
Yeah, that's the only concern that I see. I appreciate the presentation and explaining the circumstances, within the area that would warrant some more of a secure fence in the front yard. But I think just reducing that visual impact, will help a lot.
Okay. And I don't know if this is, because on the next door, their hedge, which is probably 20 feet tall, is on the sidewalk line. I don't know if that matters at all under these issues, and if it doesn't, that's fine. I'm very willing to set this back a little bit. So, okay. All right. So I guess that's it. I guess I will work with her. So thank you very much for your, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Miller. And so we'll go ahead and continue this particular item to a date certain of October 21st. Is that correct, Ms. Tumian? So that works for you.
October 21st.
And then
Okay.
that way there's no need to renotice the project. So if there is anyone listening from the public, they understand that we'll consider this again on October 21st.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much.
And I'm sorry, I moved ahead a little bit quickly, but is there any member of the public that would like to provide comments on this item? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands raised. So as I mentioned, we'll continue this to October 21st. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda, we have a conditional use permit for 1369 Peterson Lane, and the project planner is Mr. McKay.
Sweet. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Connor McKay, city planner, and I'm happy to be here this morning to present the conditional use permit located at 1369 Peterson Lane. So this conditional use permit is a request for a 6-foot side yard fence that would be located 11 feet 4 inches from the back of sidewalk, where a 15-foot setback would typically be required. This fence would replace the existing 4-foot fence to provide additional privacy and security for private yard space. Here is a location aerial of 1369 Peterson. And as you can see, they don't really have a whole lot of backyard space. This is actually technically considered to be the front yard by the zoning code, but in practice, it's kind of their side yard. And it's right now it's, let's see if we have a site plan. So this is what the fence looks like right now. So it's not really suitable for private and secure enjoyment. So the new fence would be located, like I said, a little bit over 11 feet from the back of sidewalk. It would comply with the driveway vision triangle standard, and it would be 6 feet in height. And here is an example of the proposed fence style. And the project is exempt from CEQA, and that is the construction of a small structure. So it fits the criteria under class 3. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the ZA by resolution approve this conditional use permit for the construction of a 6-foot fence located 11 feet 4 inches from the back of sidewalk where a 15-foot setback would otherwise be required at 1369 Peterson Lane. And I know the applicant is available for questions and comments. I don't think they have any remarks to add to my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. Just a quick question. If you could go back to the photographs of the existing fence. So right in that upper photograph, it shows the existing fence. So that's currently at back of sidewalk. So this new 6-foot fence would be 11 feet from that location.
That is correct.
Okay. Great. And okay, I don't think I have any additional questions. I understand based on the configuration of the property and the home that there's a need for some private and secure outdoor space. And I appreciate that it's still provides, or there's a substantial difference from the back of the sidewalk. And I think the fence design is compatible and of good material. So I thank you for that presentation. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. I will approve the conditional use permit for this. And I thank you for the presentation and for the applicant being in attendance. Okay, so moving on to item 3.3. This is a conditional use permit for 822 Louisa Drive, and the project planner is Ms. Sheikali.
Good morning, Ms. Nicholson. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen so I can go over my presentation. And thank you and good morning. So as you mentioned, this is a minor conditional use permit for Stephen Starkweather Massage. So I'm going to the next page. She's located at 822 Louisa Drive. So the minor use permit is to allow a home occupation use for massage therapy and hypnotherapy services. That is going to be from Tuesday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with maximum of 3 clients per day. So here is the site. The general plan land use low density residential and the zone is PD, planned development. The site already has 1 single family and the existing driveway. So customers, clients will park their cars on the driveway. Here is like a floor plan for the existing house. And you can see the client session is provided one of the areas in the front of the house. So a notice was sent to neighbors within 600 feet, and staff did not receive any comments or concerns about the proposed use. The applicant mentions that we'll have a maximum of 3 clients per day, and that sometimes can be even less than 3 clients. Parking will be provided on the site, and the project has been conditioned to make sure there won't be 2 clients at the same time. So there will be like some time between the 1 client and then second one. So the project has been reviewed in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and it qualifies for a Class 1 exemption under Section 15301, in that it is an existing facility, which is a single family home. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor conditional use permit for the property located at 822 Louisa Drive. And that was my staff report. I know the applicant is also available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. Just a quick question, and you may have gone over this. Are there specific hours of operation that are included in the project description or as conditions of approval?
Sure, it will be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, great.
Actually 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. My bad, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Are there any members of the public that wish to provide comments on this item? Okay. Not seeing any hands raised. I appreciate the proposal. I see that it would have a minimal, if no impact at all on the neighborhood, considering the number of clients and also that on-site parking would be provided, and also that the hours of operation are, not too early in the morning and not too late in the evening. So I am comfortable with the proposal, and with that, I will approve the conditional use permit for this project. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, next up we have item 3.4. This is for a conditional use permit and design review for 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue, and the project planner is Ms. Shekali again.
Thank you again. Okay, so let me share my screen. So the project before you, the second, is Planet Fitness for a property located at 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue. Next page. So this is a minor use permit and minor design review to allow operation of a 15,000 square feet approximately health fitness facility with extended hours of operation, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and some minor modification to the building facade of an existing building. As you can see in this picture, this building used to be Toys R Us, and it has been vacant for a while. So the applicants will use portion of this structure for Planet Fitness that will be operating 24 hours. So just to be clear, the use is permitted by right, but a minor use permit is required for the extended hours, which is going to be from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. So here is where the site is located, and only almost half of that structure will be occupied by the Planet Fitness. The general plan land use is CG, general commercial, and the zone is CG, and the general plan land use is retail and business services. The site is next to Highway 101, and there are multiple different large retail stores also in that area. The parking is provided on the site and exceeds the number of required parking spaces. There are totally 187 parking for the entire building. And for the entire building, if you use the retail space required for the parking spaces, 152 will be required. So there are more than 30 additional parking spaces on the site. Here is the site plan, and it shows the area where the Planet Fitness will be placed inside of that building. And I'm going to go over the exterior changes to this building. So on the top of the page is the existing elevations. There are some color ones that I will go over them also. And the applicant is proposing to add more windows and 2 separate doors on the side facing the parking lot. This is the elevation facing Highway 101. The north one shows, the one on the top of the page shows existing elevation, and the one below shows the proposed one. And here is the color one. As you can see, the building will be divided to 2 different tenants. More windows will be added, a separate door, awnings will be added, and the materials will be stucco and some sidings. The applicant is available, and if anyone has questions, he can go over more detail. Notices were sent out, and staff did not receive any comments or questions from the public. And this project also has been reviewed in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and it qualifies for 2 exemptions, Class 1 and Class 3. It is the use within the existing structure with no result in significant impacts. Also, there will be minor exterior modification to the existing structure. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve this minor conditional use permit and minor design review for the property located at 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue. And that was my presentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Does the applicant have any comments to share, just for questions? I do have a few questions, and Ms. Shikali, that you might be able to answer them as well.
Sure. Sorry, Ms. Nicholson. Andrew Davies, on behalf of Planet Fitness, here if you have any questions as well.
Great, thanks so much. You mentioned that there's stucco and then there's a different type of siding. Is it? I couldn't quite read on the elevation what it was. Is it metal or wood that's shown kind of around the glazing?
Let me pull that up, and
I can share also the screen, David.
thank you. And are you looking, Ms. Nicholson? Are you asking on the front elevation or the side elevation? I believe there's in the top left corner. There's the information for the specific materials there.
Yes, I'm trying. It's a little bit blurry. Okay, it looks like metal panels, and then okay, so that's kind of the darker brown color, and then awning, proposed canvas or metal awning. Okay. And then on the elevation that's facing Highway 101, is there any sort of relief along that? I can't, it's difficult for me to see, or is that just a change in material that 3 box is pointing to? Or I'm not.
Yeah, there is a slight relief there. The non-structural break in the stucco there.
Okay.
Yeah, and just as a point of clarification, so as you see on the front elevation there, on the right side will be the Planet Fitness. We are proposing to perform the upgrades or update to the elevations on the area outside of what Planet Fitness will be occupying, but there will be a separate application for the use. I believe it's already been submitted to the city by the future occupant, though.
Okay, great. And then are there any, I'm not sure what the landscape situation is out there. Is there any proposed landscaping for the project?
There isn't any proposed landscaping. There are some planters out in the front, or at the front elevation. You can see there in that picture, there's some planter boxes, and then on the far side, and then including that tree, there are some tree wells and bushes out there.
Okay. Okay, and that I understand the planter placement because there's just sidewalk right up to the building. Okay,
Right.
Great. That's helpful. Thank you. Okay, I don't think I have any additional questions at this time. Appreciate those responses. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. I appreciate the design modifications in particular. I like all the added glazing and the changes to materials. I understand the landscaping limitations considering the sidewalk. And it's great that there'll be a use and a 24-hour use in this area just to have more activity in the shopping center. So I will be approving the minor conditional use permit and design review. And thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. This is for a conditional use permit for 2663 Santa Rosa Avenue, and the project planner is Mr. Ross.
Thank you, Ms. Zoning Administrator. I'm going to pull up the presentation right now. Okay, do you see the presentation on the screen? Great. Okay, so the item before you is a minor conditional use permit for the purposes of the Banfield Pet Hospital, file number CUP 21-067. It's located at 2663 Santa Rosa Avenue, very close to the previous project, actually, in the same parking lot. So again, it's a minor conditional use permit for the Banfield Pet Hospital. It's a medical service veterinary clinic in an existing 3,700 square foot tenant space. The project does not include any overnight boarding or kenneling. There's no outdoor amenities such as dog washing or a dog run proposed as part of this project. And the hours of operation are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. So here's the approximate location. I believe that 2705 was the previous project. It's within the Southside Shopping Center. Here's the site plan. So here's this little bit of Banfield here, and then the parking for the total parking exceeds the minimum requirements when considering the requirements of one space per 250 square feet for the entire shopping center as a whole. Here's an internal floor plan. This would be a tenant improvement to an existing space. Again, no outdoor changes are proposed. Signage would come in later and under a separate permit. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor conditional use permit for the Banfield Pet Hospital, a veterinary clinic located at 2663 Santa Rosa Avenue, file number CUP 21-067. And here's my contact information. I'm available for any questions, and I know that the applicant is here as well to answer any questions that may come up.
Great, thank you, Mr. Ross. I don't have any questions at this time. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. I think that this is an appropriate use for the site. I appreciate that you went into the parking analysis as well. I know that particular shopping center has quite a few parking spaces, and I am happy to see that this veterinary hospital will be relocated. I think I know where it is currently, and based on the hours of operation and the lack of outdoor activities, and I don't have any concerns about the compatibility with the adjacent businesses. So I will be approving the use permit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 3.6. This is a landmark alteration permit for 224 West 7th Street. and the project planner is Mr. Ross.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, do you see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is the Calderon Deck project. It is a minor landmark alteration permit, file number LMA 21-013, located at 224 West 7th Street. The project includes a LMA, landmark alteration permit, to legalize an existing deck in the rear yard of a single family residence located within the West End Preservation District. The materials provided include wood and corrugated metal. There was a historic consistency evaluation by Alice Diffie, an architectural historian, dated August 6, 2021, which concluded that the project complies with findings for a landmark alteration permit, including the Secretary of Interior standards for that as applicable. So here's the project location, again on West 7th Street. Here's the site plan. Parking is not really an issue. It's a single family home existing. That's not really under discussion. But as you can see, it is existing. It does have a covered corrugated metal roof, and the base is made out of wood material. Previously, there used to be a porch in the rear of the house that was since enclosed, and then this deck was added later on to make up for that closure of that porch. The porch was enclosed quite some time ago, so the deck is not as old as that enclosure. So in considering this deck, staff looked at it and looked at a lot of these pictures on what it looks like, but a lot of these are just personal storage items and what's used on the deck, and not so much the design of the deck itself. The design of the deck itself is straightforward, simple material, and if you were to put this deck in now or to legalize this deck now, it would not preclude or be detrimental to any of the historic analysis or historic nature of the property. In addition, the deck does comply with side yard setbacks and rear yard setbacks. So again, here's just some more images of the existing deck. This type of home is kind of like they have a this is technically the first floor, and then the bottom floor is the basement. It's not habitable space per se. It's pretty common with these types of homes in this area, although that can be converted under separate permit. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor landmark alteration permit for the Calderon deck, a residential deck in the rear yard of the property located at 224 West 7th Street, file number LMA 21-013. And I should mention that this will clear up a code enforcement case for an unpermitted deck. There are conditions. They will have to get new footings and go through the building permit process for that. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But does the applicant have anything to add? Okay. I'm seeing that Mr. Montes has his hand raised.
Okay.
Hi, I'd just like to say that I'm the project planner or the applicant on this project. And if you have any questions for me or the homeowner, please let us know. I believe Dean Calderon is the homeowner is also present today.
Great, thank you so much. I just have one question actually for Mr. Ross. Were there any public comments received in response to noticing done for this meeting?
There were not.
Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide a comment at this time? Okay, seeing none. I appreciate that there was a historic resource consistency evaluation. I think that that's really fundamental in approving a landmark alteration permit. I don't have any concerns about the deck. I understand the need for greater use of that space, and appreciate that it's made out of wood, and also knowing that there aren't any neighbor concerns about the deck and it impacting views or anything like that. I also recognize, like, the consistency evaluation likely found that it's a removable condition and wouldn't have an impact on the historic home. So with that, I will go ahead and approve the landmark alteration permit. Thank you all for attending. Okay, so I believe that is the last item on today's agenda. So I will go ahead and close the zoning administrator meeting at 11:11 today.